afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome to Crypto Chat UK. Just want to go briefly through a conversation I had this morning with a very good friend of mine. He's been investing in cryptos for a couple of years now or more, maybe 3 years or more now. He's a long-term holder, not a day trader, so a bit like myself. I dabble a little bit with day trading, a little bit of stuff, but in most part, I'm a long-term holder and hodler. Now, the reason this conversation came up is because of Aimstone, who's a YouTuber that I well respect, and he's got a really different angle. He's a bit of a genius, Aimstone, I think. I think he knows his stuff very well. He must have worked in markets in general. Now, he doesn't just discuss cryptocurrencies or the blockchain. He discusses markets in general as well as cryptos. And yeah, if you haven't seen him, check him out. Aimstone, that's AIMSTONE. Check him out on YouTube because he is really good. Now, what it was is I shared a video about price prediction experts that Aimstone had made. And the response from my friend was that he doesn't look at predictions at all anymore, and I'm presuming that's because of 2018 drops. Now, of course, price predictions are speculative. You can read the markets to a degree, you can look at patterns, you can look at all the things and all the variables, you can use the tools that are out there, and even when you're pretty au fait with it, and some people are experts at it in general, some people have done it as a living even before cryptos were around, they still get it wrong. So, short term, certainly, I would say, getting it wrong. Now that's for me short term, months, and even some part can be years. So not just your months, your quarters, your half year. It can be years. People can get it wrong. However, this is what I said. Now this is going to seem like a little bit of a script, but some really good stuff came out, I thought. So I'm going to just let you know my response here, and just talk a bit about that. So my response to that is price predictions can mean nothing in this market. In my opinion, we can almost ignore a lot of it. But it's all about the clear valuation of Bitcoin over time. The individual predictions do not matter. To me, it's just obvious and very clear what Bitcoin's worth will be. And that is upwards over time, not downwards. Now, don't forget, I and many other people who mentioned this, we're not financial advisors. So you have to look, if you're going to invest in, or if you're investing further in, you have to look at it yourself, make sure you're happy. Of course you do. But for me, personally, this is not a special theory. In my opinion, not some great smart knowledge. It's just clearly and easily concluded through the key aspects of it, but a lot of it to do with the basic maths as well. It's pretty much the basic maths tell me a story. Okay, so everyone can simply remember the statements. That I make and other people make about the future of cryptocurrencies, but in particular Bitcoin. You can just look at the statements, what we say about Bitcoin's value and how it will go up. And then you can turn around and tell us, basically, told you Bitcoin will be worth nothing in the future. If you really are on your back foot and on a negative on it, you can easily point the finger and say, I told you so. That's fine. But time will tell, of course. And as I've always said, to accumulate Bitcoin as well as speculate on others. So if you are investing, accumulate Bitcoin, definitely, 100%, I believe that, and speculate on the others. There is some that's probably still key that I would say are essential to get in on. I won't go through that here, but certainly Bitcoin and speculation on others, okay? I mean, this year or two's drops, they've seen sideways movement. It doesn't even make me worry. So the drops and the sideways movement hasn't made me worry one bit. And it never has. It never has. Yes, it would have been great to pull out at the top and invest back in at the bottom, or if you want to pull out and just pull your profits out, that's fine. But sometimes that doesn't happen. We perhaps should have seen the big drops coming. We did keep saying it would drop at some point. But to the degree it has, no. Nobody predicted that in 2018. Well, I think there might have been one or two people who weren't being listened to, of course, who did predict it. So for anyone to not ride these periods, that's these drops, these low periods, these crashes, as much as highs, is very silly. In my opinion, it's very, very silly. If you can't ride the drops, then there's something wrong. But maths really don't lie. Now, I'm not the first one to say this, and I've said it before in other videos. Maths do not lie. It's going to be interesting to watch the space, and it'll either prove me wrong or prove me right. But me personally, I have no doubt in Bitcoin because it's obvious, not because of general price predictions. So for me, it's nothing to do with general price predictions. It's quite obvious to me where it's going to go, particularly Bitcoin. Okay? So I also went on to say, education and vision is most important. This is why I do not do price predictions myself, because I don't do any price predictions. I do it in the background, but I don't do it on any videos. Okay? I don't do any price predictions. Okay? So to me, because of the short term, no point. There is no point, and long term doesn't matter. So there's no point short term in doing predictions. It's not that there's no point. It's great to speculate, but there's no point in taking everything too seriously, unless you're an expert analyst. Okay, then maybe. But that's particularly if you're thinking long term. So if you're thinking long term investment, the short term predictions don't matter. They don't really matter, not in my opinion, anyway. So as long as the product, the technology, and the opportunity is about increased value, then it doesn't matter about the short-term predictions, especially if it's for speculative reasons, okay? If it's long-term speculation, long-term investment you're looking at, the short-term predictions, there's absolutely no reason. It really doesn't matter, okay? So people who are in this market or not need to ask the right questions. This is what I always talk about. You need to ask the right questions. So whether you're in this market or not, you need to be asking the right questions. You need to widen your view and also think like the few, not the many. You don't need to be thinking about all the many people who go, oh my God, no, stay away from this. You need to look at it yourself. You need to widen your view, and you need to be asking the right questions. There's a lot of people that have got either experience or are experts in markets in general, but there's a lot of people who've got a lot of experience in cryptocurrencies, and they've learned a lot over the last few years. I mean, don't forget, it's been going 10 years. And, you know, if you don't ask the right questions, you're not going to get that information. You're not going to get informed, okay? So don't forget the few. When I talk about, you know, you need to think like the few, not the many. The few are the ones, don't forget. They end up prosperous in all markets and all opportunities. It's the people think in a different way than the many that make it, okay? So, I mean, if you look at last year, a lot of the stuff last year seemed like sales pitch. And the crowdfunding concept, I was always cautious of last year. I widened my portfolio in the type of investments in an attempt to find a high return in this market. So I was trying to find last year, probably the end of 2016 or early 2017, mid 2017 and a bit later, I was trying to find those high returns in this market, and so was a lot of people, you know. And there was some got caught some really good ones. But the principle of investing in this has always been about the main, more important fundamental cryptos, blockchains. Obviously, some cryptos will die off, but you have to make sure to secure your position in the key ones. So, you know, I speculated on other altcoins, of course, but my primary ones was the serious blockchains and Bitcoin and altcoins that genuinely looked like they were going to be around forever. Okay, not all just the crowdfunding stuff and the obscure stuff that seemed to go on there, including the ICOs at the time. Some of them were just trying to money grab, I think. Of course, it's come out that some people have tried to con. But if you stuck to the fundamentals, and you do stick to the fundamentals, don't forget the other ones are more speculative. And the fundamentals, I think, are not. So, obviously, some will die off, but secure your position in the key ones. In my opinion, it's not a risk or speculation. It is pretty much a surety of long-term gains, returns of value. So, I think personally, if you make sure you're investing, make sure you're getting good positions on the key ones like Bitcoin and Bitcoin in particular, then for me doesn't appear to be a risk. For me, it doesn't appear to be speculation. It is pretty much a surety. Okay, this is stuff I don't get to talk about enough. Okay, what people need to ask is, why do I and other people, and in particular the prominent people who have nothing to gain from telling people this, why do we believe where Bitcoin and other cryptos are going? And why do we believe this value will be so largely upwards and high? So why do we believe this? You need to be asking these questions. Why do people believe that Bitcoin itself is going to be so high? You need to ask these questions and many others. Don't forget, if you want to test the knowledge of somebody, then ask. Get every bit of questions you want. If you're really interested or you're unsure, but you want to look into it, then ask the questions. Because you can put the people to the test. And it's great for them as well, because you can test their knowledge. So it has to be said, okay, just to close, this is how I close. It has to be said, Bitcoin, the blockchain, cryptocurrencies, they're not a fad. They are not going away. They are here to stay. And if looked at, worked on and invested in correctly, then the benefits are obvious too. To ignore it is foolish, ignorant, and I reckon rather stupid in my opinion. This is not fluff. It's not wild blind following of a gold rush or temporary opportunity. It is much smarter than that. It is much more long term than that, and it is of a major benefit for anyone who has the capacity to realise it and understand the future of it too. Now, I'm not stupid, okay? I've been around for quite a while, and I have had businesses, and I've got 2 businesses now, and they have all been successful. It's not easy. It's not easy running a business. I'm not a rich man by far, but they've created a living for me, and I do well with them. Okay, this means that I'm no mug, okay? So I don't just go around and think, oh, jump on the bandwagon. Okay, I don't just jump on the bandwagon and go, yeah, this is great. Oh, in this case, FOMO. Everybody experiences a bit of FOMO. So the thing with this is I look at it in a serious way. And for me, it's a very serious investment, very serious technology. And I do talk about the use case as well. I do think it's amazing for the world. I am a speculator in it, and I do like it. But you have got to look at it very important. This is not some kind of wild, off-the-cuff gold rush. It's not some kind of fad that's going to come and go away. As I've just said, cryptocurrencies are here to stay. Bitcoin's here to stay. The blockchain is here to stay. So if you think about it wisely, and if you do want to invest correctly and invest wisely too. If you are going for them altcoins or even ICOs, because there is some out there still, whatever that, be very, very careful. Be very cautious. But if you want to be very careful and stick to the fundamentals, personally, I think you're pretty much assured of good gains, good profits, and making a very good and wise investment. So hope this helps you a little bit, guys. I hope it's come through clear enough. If you did like this video, obviously hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I will be bringing more videos to you soon, but I just wanted to voice my opinion on the predictions and on the market and on cryptocurrency in general. 2019 I hope will be good, but I am looking at 2020 to 2022, so I'm looking at accumulating more now. But I hope to speak to you all very soon, guys. Take it easy.